Do you think you sold him a dog that is not legit? Like, I don't get
Well,
it.
in September, Mr. Zachary had reached out and was talking about how the dog had a longer snout. Now, I've never seen an adult photo until the other day of the dog, and I would have to agree that Milky Way did not come from my big boy.
Really?
This is the plaintiff, Zach. He says he purchased a pit bull puppy from the defendant and was told the dog's father was a prize winner, which was a big fat lie. Bottom line, he wants to return the puppy to the plaintiff because he can't produce the registration papers and is suing for the $6,000 he's now owed. This is the defendant, Dakota. He says he tried to work things out best he could with the plaintiff, but they could never get on the same page. The guy's very impatient. He had to quarantine due to COVID, so there was a delay in getting him the paperwork. Now, all this time later, he thinks the plaintiff sold or gave the dog away, and now he's being sued? Come on. He's accused of pooping out on a puppy sale.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Zach, you bought what you thought was an American Pit Bull puppy from Mr. Dakota, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you pay for the puppy?
$2,000.
$2,000. All right, and that's
Yes,
was there a written record of your transaction with him?
Yes, in the contract that we signed. There's an amount right there at the top.
Yeah, I see the amount. What I'm concerned about, in the contract, you're supposed to get the dog's legitimacy papers, right? Like the AK, what's
Yep.
it called?
ABKC.
ABKC.
Yes.
And there's no dispute about that, right, Mr. Dakota?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you a question, Mr. Zach. You bought the dog when?
In the end of July 2020.
Okay, and then as the dog grew, you started to notice some discrepancies. What was the problem?
Well, I have several friends that are in the bully, that have bully kennels, and I like to show off my puppies and post pictures on social medias. And I have a good friend of mine, and he runs a kennel, and he's just like, that dog looked kind of suspect. Then I have another good friend. She has a kennel, and matter of fact, me and her was supposed to trying to get together and schedule a breeding for my dog, so for my other dog. And so she was like, Zach, I really think that puppy is not a bully. And
All right, let me ask
I
you a question.
think
How many dogs do you have?
now I have three now, but I had five at the time.
All right, and the purpose of the dogs, I mean, your intention is to breed them, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Is that the dog?
That's the dog as a puppy. That's her as a puppy. All right, that's her. And that's yes, that's her.
On the right?
Yes. The black and white one.
Is this the picture that someone said, hey, that puppy's not a bully?
No, that picture is lately. The pictures that I had on Facebook were the ones where someone said she was not a bully. That was her, like.
All right, well, let me ask you a
about
question.
month
When
ago.
did you first bring this up to Mr. Dakota's attention?
Probably, I think the first time we started talking about it was in August, and he kept assuring me that she was a bully, and he swore up and down that eventually she was going to grow into herself. And this went on for months, and I talked about working out something different, like maybe a refund or an exchange. And he said that he would not do a refund until I gave the dog back, and he was able to resell her. And that's where it kept going left at. After after we kept going back and forth about the dog and about me thinking that the dog wasn't, then we talked about like a refund or either him giving me credit towards another dog. So that bought him some time for some months. But we ended up coming up with that I would keep the dog, but he would still give me the registration because he was saying that he didn't want to send me the registration if he wasn't sure that I was not going to keep the dog. So we then came up that I was going to keep the dog because he, like I said, he kept swearing to me that the dog is a bully and that she's going to grow and she's going to be this just like her champion dad. All right. So after we agreed that I would keep the dog, he spoke to me and he said he had the papers and that he would send them out. So I waited a couple of days.
Did you ever get the papers for this dog, Mr. Dakota? Because he never got the paperwork. So where are the papers for the dog?
The first time I sent the papers over, I got do not return to sender on the paperwork. The second time I sent it over, he said he never received them and I've never got them back. But that was after I gave
Do you have
Mr.
any proof
Zachary.
that you have any? Did you take photocopies of the papers? There's something that you can show me to see that they. And why couldn't you get duplicate AKBC? What is it? AB? What are the letters?
ABKC?
ABKC. Why couldn't you get duplicate ABKC if he didn't get it? Why are we in a sale of a dog in July talking about this in February? Well, why didn't you?
Because I didn't lose those papers until I sent him the second time, and that was after I already sent him a $1,000 refund on the dog. So therefore, he's not going to get a dog with paperwork because I already gave him half his money back.
Right, but what option did you two agree to?
Okay.
That you would pay him how much?
$3,000, $1,000 more than.
But he only
paid
paid $2,000. But why?
Right, but he had to go to drive to Jacksonville because he's from Georgia. He had to drive down here, and I was trying to work with him. I said, I completely understand. I could do $3,000.
Okay, but I don't get it. It's so simple. You made a sale, and the sales are final, and you're supposed to give him the papers, and you still hadn't given them to him. So do you think you sold him a dog that is not legit? Like, I don't get it.
Well, in September, Mr. Zachary had reached out and was talking about how the dog had a longer snout. Now, I've never seen an adult photo until the other day of the dog, and I would have to agree that Milky Way did not come from my big boy.
Really?
Yeah, I have several other dogs.
And you're a breeder and you're letting them cross-pollinate?
Well, I'm not a breeder, first off.
Okay.
So it kind of just happened.
Why are you laughing?
Me?
Yeah.
You talking to me, Your Honor? Because
yes.
all the stuff that he's telling you, he's lying through his teeth. He told me he canceled the registration. After we had agreed upon.
How do you cancel? I see that in the text. You tell me, Mr. Dakota, how does one cancel registration? I don't know how you can cancel registration. What does that mean?
You just deactivate the puppy's ID number so they can't be registered through that kennel. So every dog you have, because I already gave him $1,000.
So what? I don't understand what you're saying. You're pretending that wait. You're pretending that all you had to do was give him $1,000 and then you don't have to give him papers and you can give him a month. That's not on the table. The agreement you guys made was right. So the agreement you guys made was $3,000. Are you supposed to get the dog back, or are you not supposed to get the dog back in that agreement?
Supposed to get the dog back. But a couple of days later, he had called and said that agreement was off and he was going to take me to court.
Okay.
Yes, I did say that.
So what was it you ended up telling him the agreement is off? Why was the agreement off?
I told him the agreement was off because I was tired of him lying. See, he told me on December the 30th that he had mailed the papers. Now, mind you, he has lied to me about shipping those papers 3 different occasions.
Where is the dog right now? Actually, where's the dog?
I gave the dog to my cousin. My cousin stays like 10 minutes away. I can give him the dog if you order it. But after all the evidence is turned out, I want you to listen to all the evidence before you decide on if he should get the dog back.
No, I've got all the evidence. He sells you a dog
Have you talked
that
to
is
my
supposed
witness
to.
yet?
No, would you like me to? What's your witness going to tell me?
Yes.
Put him on. Let's see him.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
bring
talk
him
to your
in,
witness.
please.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Talk to me. Who are you?
I am the original owner of Sinatra.
And who is Sinatra, the purported daddy dog?
Yes.
Doggy daddy. Okay. And what is it you have to say?
So there's a few parts of this. Number one, there is no way that Sinatra could be the sire of that specific dog, because I was told by Dakota that there was an accidental litter done with a blue female, and so Merle, the coloration of that dog, is a dominant gene. It's a mutation in the gene which creates the blotching of the coat, and so there's no way two blue dogs, Sinatra being a blue and the female being a blue, could produce a Merle. So that dog is absolutely a mutt. The second part of this is that Sinatra was sent to Dakota to be a hog dog, not a breeding dog. I own the ABKC paperwork on Sinatra. Dakota does not.
Well.
Hold on,
What's
Your
a
Honor.
hog
It gets
dog?
better.
What's a
Hog
hog
is where-
dog?
So Sinatra is very athletic, and he had a very high prey drive, and so he was going to be able to perform a task that Dakota claimed that he could do. And I vetted about 15 different people because Sinatra was on my yard creating havoc because of his prey drive and attacking other dogs on my yard. So I positioned this dog to do a job to release some of that prey drive that he has to be a killer that he wanted to be, to put him to work, to give him a job. And Dakota fit the bill because he goes hog hunting and things like that. So this dog was going to be used to catch hogs. And he was not. I gave Sinatra to this man for free to give Sinatra a better chance at life with a job to do as a detailed working dog. And Dakota took this dog and, fraudulently, and just as well as I do, I own the paperwork. I didn't bring it with me to work today, but that dog is registered to my name, ABKC. I gave him to him for free. I paid half of the shipping fee to send that dog to him to do a job.
And also, Your Honor, guess what? Dakota sent him a text message admitting that he sold me a hound.
I don't think there's any question he sold you a mutt. Dakota, did you hear the sir, what is your name? I'm sorry.
Josh.
Did you hear Josh's testimony, Dakota?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
So essentially what he's telling me is that you're a fraud and a thief who knows that he sold a dog with purported papers that you don't possess and can't possess. Is that true or not true? What Josh is telling me is that you can't possibly get this dog registered, okay? Never mind the mutt part, because you don't own the ABKC papers. So you could never have paperwork for this dog because did you hear him? Because he gave the dog to you. All right, so how is it that I should believe that there's a world where you can get the papers for this dog, for any progeny of this dog?
Well, me and Josh had originally spoke. Sinatra wasn't supposed to be a breeding dog. I'm not a breeder. He was supposed to be for hogs. He had a very bad anger issue with other dogs, period. We got all that fixed. I have a male that lives in the house with him. He's a great dog. I told him about the accidental
How could you ever register?
litter.
Listen to my question. How could you ever register progeny of Sinatra without having the ABKC papers in your name?
I wouldn't. I would have to go through Josh unless I did a single registration through ABKC or UKC.
So then you sold a dog claiming you can get its papers and you couldn't.
Well, in text message, me and Josh had agreed that whatever stud fees was or whatever we could do one half on, say, stud fees at $2,500, it'd be $1,250, and Josh would register the litters, or I could buy the paperwork from Josh himself for, I believe it's $4,200, but Josh would have to quote me on that.
Okay, and so did you reach an agreement and pay him $4,200 for the paperwork? Or
No, Your
did
Honor,
you
I did
end up
not.
giving,
And-
okay,
and-
so then you sold something to Mr. Zach that you couldn't sell because you didn't have.
I didn't have it at the time.
Now the
and
fact that there's
wasn't
no paperwork anywhere, now you couldn't have mailed him. You're a liar because you couldn't have mailed him the paperwork because you just admitted you could never even get the paperwork.
Correct, Your
Your
Honor.
Honor.
I lied about trying to send the paperwork because I was originally just trying to buy some time to get the paperwork from Josh to
Okay,
register
so why
the
did you
letter.
lie to put your hand down? I'm in the middle of this. I've been doing this without you my whole life. So, Dakota, why don't you tell me why, under oath, 2 seconds ago, you lied to me and said I put the paper in the mail?
I don't know, Your Honor.
You want to give the dog back or you don't want to give the dog back, Zach?
I don't, but Your Honor, I have something else that he's not mentioning.
Oh, you
In the
got to be
text
kidding me.
message-
Go ahead.
No, in the text message to Mr. Josh, he admitted that he sold me a hound.
I don't think there's any
He-
question he sold you a hound. Josh, you were
But-
trying to interrupt earlier. What did you want to say? Wait, I want to hear whatever Josh has to finish up here.
You know, this is a case of just being dishonest. And Dakota, you know, good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. And you just flat out lied and were dishonest. I'm proud of you, and I'm happy for Sinatra that he has a location and a loving home. But you're very dishonest. You're a very dishonest man, and you knew very well what the stipulation was to get the paperwork from me. You knew I didn't want the dog to be bred, and there is no way off of your mishap breeding with your friend that a Merle came off of that litter, period. So you lied to this man the whole entire time, and you lied to me yesterday. So.
And you lied to me today. Zach, I tend to agree with you. Number one, I am going to hold Dakota to the benefit of your second deal, which means he owes you $2,000. Okay? But number two, I am going, as punitive damages to him, not allow him to get back the dog, which I am sure you have now grown with some affection to, or at least given it as a gift to someone else. So you will not be returning anything. My verdict is in your favor in the amount of an additional, because he's already paid you $1,000, in the amount of the additional $2,000, and you do not have to return the dog.
Thank you.
So, in a pretty fascinating case, the plaintiff wins. Kind of big time here. Dakota, I got to ask you, what do you think about what just happened here? Zach's witness really put your story to waste. I mean, pointed out you're a liar, flat out liar.
Well, I was just trying to buy some time until I had enough money to pay Josh for the paperwork. And I realized I couldn't do that, and that's why I offered to give all the money back to Zachary, and that's why we're here.
Well, look, you just lied to him all the way through, and it really, thank God he had his witness who could tell the true story here. Zach, let me ask you how you feel now. I know you wanted to buy a puppy, a championship puppy. Obviously, that didn't work out. How do you feel about the outcome of the case, and what are you going to do next? Let me ask you that.
I feel great about the outcome, and I'm still going to buy another puppy. I've been in. Matter of fact, the guy that I've been negotiating with is the guy that put me in contact with my witness, and that's how we met. So I'm still going to do business. But the thing is, like how you just asked Dakota that question a minute ago, he was still lying.
Yep.
He was still lying, and he was going to continue to lie until he's backed into a corner to get caught. And I wanted a lot of people in the bully world to see his face, because there's a lot of scammers out there, and we need to come together to weed out the scammers. And I'm putting all scammers on notice that when I run across you, I'm going to take action.
All right, that kind of wraps it up for this really pretty intriguing case. No question about it. Harvey, you're a dog lover. What do you think about this case?
So, Doug, here's the thing about this case, and we've seen this before, that sometimes you have situations where somebody has a dog, which is just a beloved animal, and they're suing because there's a problem with the dog, be it papers or health or whatever. And it's just unfair to say, okay, it's just about money, so give the dog back. So to do justice, to do equity, judges will often say, look, in a situation like this, I'm going to do what what they call rough justice, if you'll pardon the pun, and the plaintiff gets to keep the dog.
Hey, judges, if a neighbor's old split tree falls and damages my property, how do I sue him? There's no house on the property, no homeowner's insurance, and I don't know how to find the owner. Help, Felicia.
Felicia, you have to find the person to sue first. I mean, that's lawsuit 101. You got to find the person or the corporation to sue. Actually, let me take that back. Lawsuit 101 is making sure you find someone who's got an insurance policy or a deep pocket to sue.
But how much damage could the tree have done? I mean, she could still sue, you know, you've got to find out who the owner is, which of
Right.
course you find
It's
out
a
through
public
public records.
Right. You can get that information.
You go down to the county or village or whatever kind of government you have, and you tell them who owns this address.
And there's a man or a woman who owns it, or it's a corporation that owns it, and that's that. That's who you're targeting with the lawsuit. You got to prepare the complaint, you got to file the complaint, and then you got to serve them.
Right,
as well.
and they may have liability insurance on the property because they may worry that neighbors' kids will play there and get hurt or whatever. Or if they don't have insurance, they still own things.
Right.
So you sue them for your damage.
Or the alternative is you go onto your property and you clean up the tree that fell on it. Right?
You could do that.
There's not a lot of satisfaction in that, and that's going to
No.
cost you money and time and trouble. But.
This is the plaintiff, Kenneth Ward. He says he was hired to do some remodeling work at the defendant's house, and the lady refuses to pay him in full. He can't believe he has to sue her because he went way above and beyond doing extra work and is suing for the $3,000 he says he's owed. This is the defendant, Charlie Moore. She says the plaintiff started the job all right, then disappeared for some strange reason. She had to hire someone else to finish the job and correct the plaintiff's mistakes and owes this guy $0. She's accused of cheating a guy.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that the defendant is trying to rip him off because she won't pay for the remodeling work that he did. But the defendant claims the guy started the job and then just disappeared, and she's done waiting around for him to get his act together. It's the case of cheating a guy.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Ward, you are suing Ms. Moore for $3,000 that you say you are out, that she still owes you from all the work that you did at her house. Talk to me. What happened?
Okay, I was working next door at the house next to hers, doing a job for another lady, and I noticed that.
And what is it you do for a living?
I'm a licensed contractor. I remodel homes. Anything that has to be done at home, I can do it.
Okay.
And so what happened is I was remodeling her neighbor's house, and I noticed that they were doing work there. But then in the midst of that, I noticed they just stopped working. So when I finished the work next door, I put my card on her door. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Miss Moore. She wanted
Whose
two
phone
bathrooms
is ringing?
done. She wanted to.
Stop.
It's not mine.
Okay, so she wanted 2 bathrooms done. Go on.
She wanted the floors. She wanted 2 new floors put in the bathrooms and painted bathrooms. So I did the work in both bathrooms, but the upstairs bathroom had no sink, had no vanity, had no mirror, had no toilet. So I told her I would do that for no charge because I wanted more work. I knew she needed more work done. So I did all that with no charge. Finished it, she loved it. So then we sat down, we talked about, I asked her what else was needed to be done in her home. She said her brothers were supposed to be doing it, but they weren't doing it the way she wanted it done. They weren't doing it fast enough. So I said, I would do it. But at that time, my company, we were put on a promotion, 25% discount on any work over $3,000. Any labor over $3,000. So what ended up happening, she was telling me that she didn't have a lot of money. So I gave her a deal I was supposed to, the deal was this. She wanted the den downstairs done, which had to be drywalled all over again. And then she wanted the kitchen. The kitchen wasn't done at all. She wanted me to remodel her whole kitchen. That means put cabinets up in her kitchen. So she gave me a list. I told her to give me a list, and then I'll make an estimate. I gave her a very good estimate. The job actually was worth $15,000, but I gave her a price of $6,500.
So what is the
I gave her
quote that you gave her?
$6,500 plus a 25% discount on the labor. So
What is the quote that you gave her?
I believe it was 4,200, something like this. 40. I gave her
And for
$6,500.
how much was she supposed to pay you for the work?
$4,875. That's the final note, I believe. I don't have my paperwork with me.
Why wouldn't you have your paperwork with you? You filed a lawsuit and it's being
Because
heard.
because Anthony, that envelope right there, that vanilla envelope, just give the vanilla envelope. Thank you. That's all the paperwork. Thank you. I do apologize.
It's fine. I also need, I need Anthony to just sit tight and not rustle papers either.
Okay. Before I started work, I gave her a total quote of $4,875.
Okay. This is the receipt that you gave her for that work. It's a handwritten receipt. That's fine. How much of this
Yes,
work
ma'am.
were you able to complete?
I did everything that was on the contract, plus more things that she kept adding. She kept adding things. She changed the kitchen design 4 times. I told her after the second time you change the kitchen design, I'm gonna have to charge you for it. I would come there, I would put cabinets up, and then I'd come there, and she done took them down. She didn't just take them down, she snatched them out of the wall. And then she never told me. And so then she would say she wanted to put these different type of cabinets up there. So I would put those cabinets up there. And then she didn't like that. And then she said she would take that down. Then she told me she wanted to put this long cabinet up there that she had. I told her it wouldn't work. It's not enough room. It was 1.5 inches too long. And she insisted me doing it. I attempted to do it, and where it didn't work. So more delays. It was a 4-week project. It was only 4 weeks. I told her I could be finished.
How are you going to get paid?
But I put her on a monthly payment plan because she said she couldn't afford to pay me all at once. So every 17th of the month, starting in September, $1,000. And then the last payment was going to be $850.
That's a terrible idea, by the way. That's a terrible idea because, nobody loves their contractor after month 4. And if she doesn't have the money, just wait. Don't do the job till she collects her money. But you're gonna run into a problem if you structure things like that, because you're expecting not to get paid until 3 months later. You're buying yourself a problem by structuring it that way. In any event, how much, if anything, did she pay you?
$2,000.
And then what? She fired you?
Yeah, I came to work one day. What happened is she told me she didn't want me to do anything, so she talked to her realtor because there was 4 things left to do. It took no more than 1.5 hours. They put the baseboard down in the laundry room, and to put the 2 trap doors up in the closets, and something else. But the point.
Well, how about the garage though? Wasn't the garage something you were supposed to do?
She told me she would do the garage because I told her.
Well, right, yeah, because she fired you and she told you get out, like she was done with you. But Ms. Moore, can you tell me why you fired him?
Well, what happened was he stopped coming to work. That's what happened.
Explain that to me.
I gave him his last pay. Well, the last payment I gave him, I took it to his house. And then he said he'd be there on Monday. That was a Sunday to complete the rest of the work.
When you say the last payment, that was the second 1,000. So you did pay him $2,000.
That was the
correct?
third trial. I paid him $3,000. That was the third.
You paid him $3,000.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Ward, it looks like she paid you 3 times then. She paid you $3,000, not $2,000. Might that be correct?
She is correct. She gave me at first $1,000.
All right, Ms. Moore, okay, stop. That's all I asked you, Mr. Ward. Ms. Moore, I need you to explain to me why you told him, you said he didn't show up. So tell me, you came to his house with the third payment of for the third 1,000, and then you said to him, these are the things that you need to correct. What were the things you felt he needed to correct?
The things that were left undone, such as the garage wasn't done, the molding in the laundry room, the molding in the living room, he didn't do that. He didn't do the attic recesses for the attic. He didn't do those. And the closet doors kept falling off. And then he was supposed to paint the white ones. He never painted them. And he didn't put the microwave. He was supposed to put up the microwave in the exhaust, which is a combination over the stove.
You were also upset with the actual workmanship, correct?
Correct.
All right, I'm going to show you some pictures. What is that a picture of?
That's one of the cabinets that he just
I don't
left.
know.
And you have to adjust the doors. That was the big tall cabinet that he refused to put in there. I dragged it in from the garage myself and see how it wasn't even painted down there next to the refrigerator.
Was he responsible for painting the cabinets?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's not
Did you
part of
paint the
contract.
cabinets or no?
I painted all the cabinets because she asked me to paint them.
No, but did you paint the cabinets?
Yes, I did. I painted them all.
See, and that was where the doors, they didn't come together. They were all slanted and all streaked up.
What is
May I
this?
speak, Your Honor?
That's
Oh.
the
Go
big
ahead.
cabinet next to that he said was so ugly. Oh, that's ugly. I don't like that. Take that out. And I said, okay, you got something better? So he took it out and then it didn't look right. He had the refrigerator next to the wall. So I brought it back in and the cabinet, he put the cabinet up over the refrigerator and it was slanted. It wasn't straight. It was not level.
Who bought the cabinets? Did you buy the cabinets?
Yes, I did.
Because,
Your Honor,
you know,
those cabinets weren't
do you
bought.
hear me
Those old
talking, or
cabinets
am
were-
I talking only in my head? Are words coming out of my mouth? Do you hear words coming out of my mouth? Because I'm in the middle of a sentence and you're
I hear-
interrupting me. Don't do it again.
I hear you now. I did
Now,
not hear you
Ms.
before.
Moore. Okay, got it. No problem. Ms. Moore, are you seeing this big gap? What was your plan with that? Because you're the one who purchased the cabinets. He didn't design this kitchen for you. So what was your plan
Right,
with that
okay.
big gap? Typically speaking, there's
put-
something called a filler that is purchased.
Filler.
Yeah.
Yes, to put the filler in.
Right.
My thing is, if it was straight, it would have been easier to put the filler in. I didn't ask him to put the filler in, but the cabinet needed to be straight.
According to you, he damaged the floors?
When he was putting the base cabinets in, he scratched up my floor. Those were very expensive floors I had put in.
Isn't this the cabinet that's next to the refrigerator?
What am
I looking at here?
Yes, it's between the refrigerator and the stove.
Or is that the
That's
oven?
base cabinet.
That's the stove. Is the
Yeah,
really
that's the stove.
okay? Which are the cabinets that he said were ugly? The ones on top of the refrigerator, or the big one
No,
to the right of it?
the one that was to the right of the refrigerator, the real big, like closet.
The one
cabinet.
that you mentioned dragging in,
Yes.
and aren't these marks right in front of that that I'm looking at right now? Exactly where you dragged in
No,
the big one.
That's the base cabinet next to the stove in the refrigerator. The big tall cabinet is on the right side of the refrigerator. Everything was on one wall.
What's that?
That's the molding in the living room. He replaced it, but look at all the gaps. He didn't caulk it. He just put it against the wall. He didn't do a good job.
Let me ask you a question. Did you end up hiring someone else to finish you say that you fired him because he didn't show up. When was he supposed to show up?
He was supposed to show up that Monday. When I took him his payment on Sunday, he said, I'll be there. When I gave him the list, he said, I'll be there Monday morning. He didn't show up.
Did he call?
No. Did he text? No.
Okay. Did you call him, or were you just done with him then? Like, how did you two communicate again?
I was waiting for him to show up. He didn't. And I just told him, come and pick up your tools.
Okay. So you ended up paying other people to finish the job,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
And I see that you ended up paying somebody else $1,800 or whatever to finish the work. So, Mr. Ward, when you come into court and you've been paid $3,000 and you are now saying that the work that I saw in those pictures is worth another $3,000, I have to tell you that I don't really agree with you. I think you were spreading yourself thin. And I think you should have shown up on the day that you said you were going to show up. I think the job took a lot longer than it should have. I realize that she wouldn't let you come back and fix other things. I hear you when you say, well, she kept making me do extra work, but there's, you know, if you're really a licensed contractor, you know that you need to get that in writing. It's called a change order. And then you don't just all of a sudden come to me with out of the blue with, and I'm owed an additional $1,200 without anybody signing anything and without any agreement. So based on what I have heard,
I sent you.
no,
sent you
we're done.
something about.
We're done. About what? Wait. About what?
I sent you.
Mr. Ward, what?
I sent you the agreement we had. She didn't want to sign it. The extra $2,400 for the extra work.
That's not a contract. Something you write that someone won't sign is the opposite of a contract.
Oh, okay. I understand
I find that Ms.
And then,
Moore does
how about
not
the
have to
taxes?
pay Mr.
How
Ward
about-
any more money, and in this case, I am ruling in favor of the defendant.
I don't want to talk to you. They ruled against me.
All right, Ms. Moore, how do you feel about the outcome of the case?
I feel fine about it. I thank the judge for the verdict, and I just wanted the work done. That's all. I would have paid him. I just wanted the work done.
And you just couldn't get it done, right? Just wouldn't
Couldn't
happen.
get it done. Mm-mm.
So have you learned anything?
Yes, I have to vet my people and see their work before I hire them. And I did get some good people to work for me, and I have a list of those people, and I will call on those people that I know that the work is good.
Well, then you've learned a valuable lesson. The hard way, though.
Yes, I have.
Okay, thank
The
you.
hard way. Thank
The
you.
hard way is right. All righty, thank you very much. And that'll bring this case to the close with a very upset plaintiff who lost the case. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, look, we have seen situations like this, and by the way, what I'm about to tell you applies to all sorts of things. But say in a remodeling contract, so many times what happens is the contractor gets in there and all of a sudden discovers things that need to be done additionally, or the homeowner says, I want extra stuff done. That always happens, and it is critical to write it down. Have change orders. That's what they call them. There's a term for this, change orders, where you write down all the additional stuff and write down the amount that it's going to cost. It may be an add-on, or there may even be a deduction. But whatever it is, you keep a running tab of what you owe as a homeowner, and that tab is on those change orders. If you do that, you're going to be able to square up at the end. If you don't do this, guess where you end up? In the People's Court.
Hey judges, favorite room in the house? Does John have a man cave? Thanks, Douglas.
Well, my favorite room in the house is the family room, where we have the TV, and there's basically not a lot there except for a big TV and a sectional.
Right.
And that's because we all fit there, and we all fit close, and it's just a good cuddle spot. So.
Well, there's room for you and our 3 daughters and me or the dog.
Right.
And inevitably, I come in there a little late, and the dog is already there, and I
come on
over
time
to grab her.
Come
and
on
you and the
time.
girls
That's your
like,
fault. Don't touch a dog. She looks so comfortable.
But we spend more time in that room than probably anything else, any place else in the house at this
Yeah,
point.
we watch
right?
too much TV.
We do way too much TV. But we have a work in progress to create a person cave in the garage, right? In one part of the garage, which is kind of sketchy still, but.
I have caught you asleep on an old recliner that we stuck in there.
Yes, that's that happened once or twice. But also, do you want to have a she shed for yourself?
No, I'm good.
Now the
whole
kids are
house is a she shed. Let's face it.
Okay, that'll do it for this session of the People's Court. We'll see you next time.